All right, y'all. As you can see, Vanessa hooked the brother up with this tasting. I'm starting, I believe, with the San Simeon Viognier. Let's check that color. Swirl to open. And I'm not going to get into all of that stuff, with the boysenberry, gooseberry aromas. It has a very clean aroma. The goal is just to find out whether or not we like the way this tastes. And to see, this is, you'll see from my video, this is the oldest operating winery in Los Angeles, but they have several locations, similar to St. Julian in Michigan. So, oh, nice acid, nice balance. Getting a little fruit hit, but not much. This is a dry white. But this is one of those whites that has enough structure and acidity. So, enough structure and acid. Yes, you can serve this with poultry and fish, but to a certain extent, I'm figuring this may overpower some fish a little bit. But poultry, I'm thinking more of a grilled pork loin actually with this one. Now, if you weren't familiar, the Riboli family are also the importers of Stella Rosa. So the baseball cap merch that I picked up is a Stella Rosa cap because they didn't have I was kind of hoping they had a San Antonio cap, which they don't, but that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna go for the next one, which is the San Simeon Grenache Rosé. Look at that color. And just so you know, this flight of 4 wines cost me $25 plus tax, which is pretty decent. So it's a beautiful rosé, or you could call it, like they did white Zinfandel, you could call this a white Grenache. Very nice body. Very nice body. So if you want a lighter wine with a pasta dish, with a bolognese, if you want a lighter wine that wouldn't overpower it but would liven it up, this doesn't have excessive acid. And to me, it's really well balanced. You'll learn from me as we go on. My palate is real sensitive to acid. And actually, this is starting to kick up a little bit, though. Starting to kick up a little bit, but not much. But you can tell by the color on this rosé that it did not sit that much on the skins to get that much color. So it couldn't have been 12 hours on the skins, because that is an extremely pale pink. You can barely see pink on it. Because I'm looking at the tasting notes now, And both the Viognier and the Grenache were sourced from Paso Robles here in California. So if I'm not mistaken, they have vineyards. The Riboli family and San Antonio Winery have vineyards in Paso Robles, Napa, and Monterey. That was pretty good. Don't get me wrong, the Viognier was amazing as well. So now I'm going to move to the first red, which is the Merlot, and that's the Madalena, and which is also sourced. All these are sourced from Paso. Oh, look at that color on that Merlot. Very smooth finish. Not heavy at all on the palate. Let's look at that rim. So this is a still fairly young wine. I'm not seeing it really change. It's looking like a ruby. It's not brickish color, so it's not that old. It's extremely smooth and drinkable. You'll learn from me, I have two levels of wine, which are food wines and those wines that I call sippers. And sippers are those wines. So far, the Viognier is a sipper, and the Grenache Rosé is a sipper. This Merlot from Paso is a sipper as well. I can have this with or without food. It doesn't scream food. I'm ready to see what this Melback is going to do. But yeah, that Merlot was very, very smooth and light. Let's see what this Melback does. And no, I do not rinse between. I season my glass. That is slightly heavier than the Merlot, but not by much. You can look at that color. And as I told Vanessa, I've got to try to find a way, because we get the San Antonio Cardinal, but we don't get, I don't think we get any of their other marks in Michigan. They weren't able to ship me any bottles because they can't ship directly to Michigan. So I have to figure out a way to convince whoever distributes Cardinal to pick up some of these other labels. Hopefully through this process of two guys tasting, me and Brian Lilly will be able to bring some more wines into Michigan. So that was an amazing flight of dry wines produced by the San Antonio Winery under several labels, primarily the San Simeon, the Madalena, and it looks like the opaque brands and labels, where the Madalena was the Merlot and the opaque was the Melback. But all of these grapes were sourced from Paso Robles here in California. I hope you enjoyed this little tasting here in California. Talk to you soon.